Hi, it's Coach Lele. Welcome to the Pink Couch. Today's episode, Why Did I Get Married? Part 1.
If you could have a conversation, have a conversation, come to the big couch and talk it out with Coach Lele. With Coach Lele. A simple conversation.
Welcome, Pink Couch followers. Thank you for subscribing to my YouTube channel. Listen, if you're not connected to me on other social media outlets, please go to Facebook and like and follow the Pink Couch. Also, follow me on Instagram at CouchyPink. You want to stay connected. I got a lot of things going on. I want to keep you abreast of events. Also, don't forget to mark your calendars for February 22nd. It's going down 2/22. We're doing a live taping with a studio audience. I need you in the studio. You want to be in the studio. I currently have only 19 VIP tickets left. General admission is pretty good. But listen, the VIP includes a private reception with me, photo shoot, special gift box, and special seating in the studio. So you definitely want to get in on this. So follow me and make sure that you subscribe to all of those outlets and stay connected to me, all right? Good deal. So let's get into our topic tonight. Why did I get married? Listen, anybody who has been married for any length of time has asked this question after the ceremony. But hopefully this conversation will help those of you that aspire to be married, if you're currently dating someone or courting somebody, if that's what you want to call it, in pursuits of marriage. I hope this conversation will help you, as well as those who are currently married, to kind of stay that way and understand what it really means. If you know me, I'm a wordsmith. So I begin to look up words, and you'll be surprised that courting and dating don't have any, maybe one definition, but there's plethora of others that really outweigh it. So let's look at it. So according to Webster's dictionary, right? I looked up the word dating. Of course, it gave me the word date. As we know, it's a fruit that comes from a palm tree. We know that. Then it says the time at which an event occurs, a statement of the time of execution, duration, the period of time to meet at a specified time, an appointment. It also means a person with whom one has usually romantic date. That's it. Everything else is something different. To determine a period of time which something belongs, to record the time of execution or making of, to mark with characteristics typical of a particular period. But out of all those definitions, it's only one that has anything to do with relationship. So I said, well, let me look up courting, right? Of course, it took me to the word court, and this is what it said. It says, the residence or establishment of a sovereign or similar to dignitary. It said to seek to gain or achieve, to allure, to tempt, to seek the affections of, to seek to attract, to seek an alliance with. That doesn't really say nothing about love, commitment, none of that. It says to seek something from the person, not necessarily pursue the person. So could that be that's the reason why we're making bad decisions when it comes to people and romantic instances? So I used to have a show on Facebook a few years ago called The Covenant Collision. And with the covenant collision, I gave an analogy of what happens when the two become one. So, excuse me, when covenant collides, it makes a major impact to the couple first, all right? So when two come together, bam, there's a collision, right? You come together, all right? At the onset of impact, there are some pieces that hit the ground, such as rejection, abandonment, insecurity, inadequacy, or past failures, right? So once these things hit the ground, It appears that the collision has caused you to lose parts of yourself. But the purpose of the collision is to separate the unnecessary pieces that will hinder the two from becoming one. So when you make that impact and you see pieces of yourself on the ground, we pull away from our significant other and we pick up those pieces and put them back into us. We pick them all up because it looks like I'm broken. That's what it looks like. So I'm picking it all up, fixing myself up. But now there's no room for my partner because I've edged them out. They have nothing to connect to. So this is why you're distant, you're sleeping in two separate bedrooms, you're not talking to each other, you're not on the same page, you can't have a decent conversation because you have pushed them out because you're not trusting that your partner's strengths will help your weaknesses. And that is the purpose of the two becoming one, is so that you can come together and your strengths will push out their weaknesses and vice versa. So when the two become one, they fill the voids of the other party. The one person doesn't need double, it needs single wholeness. And so this is the reason why most marriages never last, is because both parties think they are the gift individually, not realizing the complete gift is in their oneness. So until each party admits that they don't have it all, they will end up losing it all. Okay? And so a lot of times this is what happens. So they call it dating and courting, right? But we know that's kind of limited. What is dating? Dating is actually collecting data. You're having conversations, you're spending quality time, you may be exposed to their family environment. You're supposed to be collecting data. You can't be so enamored by flowers or new Gucci boots or stuff like that you're not collecting data. You're not watching patterns, how they react when you disagree with them. How do they react when you say no? How do they react when you say yes? Are they giving as much as you're giving? It's not that you're looking for them to beat you, but there needs to be some reciprocity in the relationship. So you're supposed to be collecting data. But a lot of times we spend a lot of time with each other. We're spending money. We're taking trips. We're not paying attention to behaviors, patterns, and conversations. And so when you don't pay attention to this type of stuff, when you have time to pay attention, you're already married. Now, I don't like that. But they've been doing it the whole entire time. They've been doing it the whole entire time. But you were blinded by the gifts. You were blinded by the sex. You were blinded by, everybody else hyping you up and saying this is the one, that you were not paying attention. So collect the data while you're dating, okay? Also, a lot of females make this major mistake. And girls, I'm going to tell our secret tonight, okay? A lot of women who want to be married on the first date, they've already planned their wedding. They see you in the tux. They know who the bridesmaid's going to be. They know what the colors are going to be on the first date because they're dating to marry. They're not dating just to have friends. This is why you need to ask the right questions while you're dating. So a lot of times when women want to be married, that's all they're focusing on. So this is why they're expecting you to pay bills. They're expecting you to answer the phone when they call. They're expecting you to tell them where you're going. They're expecting check-in. They're expecting this behavior in the dating process. And men, you have to pay attention to that, because if they're requesting that on the first and second date and you're not ready for marriage, cut it off. Cut it off. Because what women do, you'll tell them. You'll tell us, I'm not looking for marriage. But in the female mind, when he gets some of this, he gonna change his mind. I'm gonna cook him a little something, he gonna change his mind. Okay. And so when you begin to compromise little things like where you gonna eat at, an unexpected date, when you start compromising, what happens is in their immature mind, they're thinking, see, he's already coming over to listen, I'm trying to help y'all tonight. Okay, this is what happens. And so we're not asking the right questions, or we're not paying attention to patterns and behaviors. And so now you end up with somebody you don't even like. And let me help you. You have to like the person. See, like and love, two different things. Okay. Love is a decision. Because you'll stay because you love them. You'll put up with some stuff because you decide this. But when you like a person, something different. You have to like the person. Do they make you laugh? Or do they irritate you all the time? Can you have a decent conversation? You gotta like the person. I actually like my husband. He's hilarious. He's funny. Does he get on my nerves? Of course. I get on his nerves. We get on each other's nerves. But we genuinely like each other. So that helps when you have heated discussions. Because he can still make me laugh even though I'm mad. And I can still make him smile though he's mad. If I cook a pot roast, we good. You know what I'm saying? So we like each other. We can actually laugh. We play Uno. You know, we dance in the kitchen sometimes, listen to the radio. So you gotta like who you're married to or who you're going to marry. So with that being said, we don't ask the right questions during our dating and courtship. We don't ask the right questions at all. We just want to know what your favorite color is, what's your favorite food, what you like to do. We don't ask the right questions. So with all that being said, when I looked up marriage, the definition for marriage was, it says, the state of being united as spouses in a consensual and contractual relationship recognized by law. Now, what it says marriage is an intimate or close union. The institution whereby individuals are joined in a marriage. That's what this was defined as marriage, okay? So I looked up covenant, right? Covenant is to enter into a contract, okay? It says usually formal, solemn, and binding agreement, a written agreement or promise, usually under a seal between two or more parties, especially for the performance of some action. Okay. So why did I get married? Okay, when you're in a marriage, you're in a covenant with that individual, husband and wife. You're in covenant with each other. You made these vows, right? You're saying these vows. So let's before we get to that part, we'll really talk about that next week. But today, I want to talk about the questions we don't ask in courtship. All right? Number one, first of all, before I get into that, when you go out on the first date, remember, it's a date. Enjoy the meal, enjoy their company, and go home. And then decide if you're going to do a second date. And once you have both decided and agreed to date each other exclusively, that's when you ask these questions, all right? So number one, what are you looking for? This is so important because when you're asked the question and they answer the question, you have to listen to the response. Remember, dating is collecting data. So when they tell you what they're looking for, ask yourself an honest, hard question. Am I able to provide that naturally? Why do you say naturally, coach? Because a lot of people perform when they're dating. They act a certain way. They act nice. They're polite. They're this. They're that. But when they're asking you, what are you looking for? You need to pay attention to the response. All right. Number two, I'm going to ask this question. Who's doing the looking? Okay. Because that matters. Because I know everybody has different religious beliefs and faiths. But the way this all started, man is supposed to seek his spouse, his wife. A man that finds a wife, finds a good thing, and obtains favor. So who's doing the looking? I know it's trending. I know it's popular. But it was never the plan for a woman to ask a man to marry her. Sorry. That's not the plan. What it says, now this is going to make a little ruffle of feathers. I know it. But hey, that's what I do. What it says is that I don't trust you to be a man and make a decision. So let me take the lead. When you have a female that's doing that, she's not going to be submissive to you. She's not going to let you lead and be the head of household. So if you are a man, and you know what your role is, and you know what you believe and this is how you flow, you might want to end the relationship, because women are not fit to lead in a marriage. We are the weaker vessel. Plain and simple. Man is the priest, period. He's the head. That's the way it goes. God, that's why God made him first. He didn't make us first. We came from man. That's why we're one man. We're a man with a womb. That's what we are. That's why we call woman. And then Adam got to name his wife. So we really have to get back to the basics, and we'll have healthier relationships. Most men are frustrated in their marriages because their wives do not listen to them. I'm not talking about a dictator. I'm not talking about an abusive narcissist. I'm talking about a good, solid man who loves his wife, who loves his family, who protects his family and provides for his family. You have to let them lead because they see on a different level. Head is up here, ribs are down here. Our vantage point is completely different. So who's doing the looking? That's important. Number 3, what do you bring to the relationship? Okay. I didn't use the word table for a reason, because that's what everybody says. What do you bring to the table? First of all, you got a table. Let's talk about that. Both of you need to be able to have a table. You want to know why that's important? Because that means if the one gets sick, we still got a table. That's what it means. Both of you need to have a table. That way you already know, because this is in sickness and in health. What happens when a spouse health begins to decline and they can no longer financially go out there and provide? Are you willing to take up the slack? So what do you bring to the relationship? Do you bring peace to the relationship? Do you bring compromise to the relationship? Do you bring conversation to the relationship? Do you bring understanding? Do you bring compassion? Do you bring solutions to the relationship? Do you bring harmony to the relationship? What do you bring? Anybody with a credit score can get a car. Anybody with a job can buy a meal. But you got to bring something else, because when there is no money, you're going to need compassion. You're going to need conversation. You're going to need understanding. You're going to need those things. So these are things that you need to think about when you're talking about, courtship. So what are you looking for? Who's doing the looking? And what do you bring to the relationship? My next question is, are you relatable? What you mean, coach? Can you actually relate to the person you're dating? Do you have anything in common? Because how can you walk together if there's no agreement? So you need to pay attention to what you argue about. Arguments are going to happen. It's inevitable because you have two different vantage points, different opinions. However, listen to the content of the argument. In the argument, are they giving you factual information about the subject matter to help you understand the perspective? Or are they just condescending and dismissive? Are they a know-it-all? Are they disrespectful in their comment? Oh, you just stupid. You don't know what you're talking about. You need to pay attention to that type of stuff, because an argument's purpose is to bring your facts about your vantage point to the table, to help the other party understand where you're coming from, to assist them look at it from a different perspective. If you don't have any information in an argument, then you're being abusive in your language. You're being verbally abusive. And so there's a difference in an argument and verbal abuse. Argument is not being loud. That's not what that is. When you have an argument, you are bringing facts to the table to say, hey, are you sure you want to do this? Because this is how I see it. And you're bringing information to the table. But when you're bringing accusations and name calling and being dismissive, that is verbal abuse, and that is not okay. So you really need to ask, are you relatable? Do you disagree about everything? I mean, you don't come to common terms on anything. If you're in a situation where you're disagreeing on everything, that's one of two things. Either one, you're not relatable, Or number two, nobody is willing to compromise. Being right is not always important. If you're going to be married, if you're going to be in a committed relationship, being right is not always important. It is not. Sometimes you have to let the chips fall where they may. And in the event it happens like you said it, if you love that person, you will not dishonor them and belittle them and say, I told you so. You will offer solutions. Okay, what do we do now? How can we fix this? Are you relatable? This is what happens when you're relatable. A lot of people are not. A lot of people want to be right all the time. Everyone has to be their way or no way at all. Those people are not marriage material because it's never going to be your way all the time. It can't be because the two become one. So your viewpoints are different. Your expertises are different. So if you have to be right all the time, stay single. And you more likely you will, unless you find somebody with low self-esteem that wants to boost your ego. But that's not good either, because you don't want to be with somebody who does not challenge you. So are you relatable? My last question that nobody asked. You ready for it? Lean in a little closer. Can I see your luggage? Yeah. Can I see your luggage? Well, Coach, what do you mean by that? I'm glad you asked. A lot of people in the natural, like, they go on trips, right? And they never unpack right away. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't unpack that suitcase until they need a suitcase again. People do that in relationships. When they get hurt, they get abandoned, they get abused, divorced. They don't deal with the pain of that disconnection. And they pack it away and then move on to something else. And they may get re-injured again and they pack it away. But the reason why they keep getting re-injured is because they don't deal with the injury. Okay? We got to get honest about where we are in our mental capacity, how we feel, our expectations. And so if you're really serious about being with somebody for the rest of your life, ask the question, can I see your luggage? And then if you love them, don't judge what's in the suitcase. If you're asking that question, it should be from a point of, I'm concerned and I think I have a solution. One of the things that has really helped me in my life is dealing with the luggage, like dealing with the baggage, and really allowing my husband to love me. What do you mean by allow? It's just this, what I said, giving them space to be in my space and fill those voids that used to be empty. I had placeholders, ministry, I had business, I had helping other people, but there was no love there that was stronger than mine to build me up. So there's a hymn that I love called Love Lifted Me, and that's what happened for me. So I want to help those that's hurting. I want to help those who are thinking about marriage. You know, it's really something serious. Then we got a lot of reality TV shows out here, and it looks like it's so glamorous and it's dramatic and stuff like that, but we really want healthy, whole people being together, and those that are still together to stay together. And so join me next week for part 2 of Why Did I Get Married? We'll talk about a couple of more other things, but just want to help you out a little bit and make you think about it from a different perspective. Thank you for joining me tonight. I love you guys so much. And don't forget to share this video to people. Make sure that you let people know that we're doing a live tape on February 22nd. And thank you so much for subscribing to my YouTube channel. I love you guys. Have a great night.
If you